What do you think is the most interesting psychology phenomenon? If you're talking to someone intently and you hand them something, more often than not they'll take it. Doesn't matter if it's a book, a pen or an orange. No idea what the phenomenon is called or if it's even psychological, but it's made for some great pranks. In the same vein, you can look straight up towards the sky in a public location and everyone else around you will look up too. Similar results if you start screaming on a flight. Locus of control, lock. Lock basically is how you view control over your own life. People either have an internal lock where they believe they have the power to control their own lives, or an external lock where you believe everything in life comes from a source other than yourself. I got fired because my boss hates me, I was late because traffic, etc. Now, what's interesting is that studies have shown people with an internal lock find greater satisfaction and success in almost every aspect of life, except one, being in a nursing home. Drives internal lock people crazy, while external lock people thrive. Childhood amnesia. The fact that up until a certain point you don't remember things. My first memory isn't until I was 6. My wife's is when she was 2. Hers seem to be emotionally based, so they are sparse and fleeting. Mine are like I just suddenly had a switch flipped, and there I was. You skipped your backstory. Prospect theory, the idea that people perceive gain and loss unequally, where a loss has about twice as much impact on a person as a gain of same amount. People will take unnecessary risks to avoid loss. Like why I didn't cash in all my crypto at 20k. Tragic man. Cotard delusion, aka walking corpse syndrome, where the sufferer genuinely believes that they are dead, don't exist, or have no internal organs. Absolutely crazy. I can't imagine what it feels like walking around feeling actually, genuinely dead. I experienced this for a period of time after my dad passed away when I was younger. It was terrifying and traumatic. I felt as if I was hollow inside, with no organs or vessels, just empty muscle, and was a ghost that everyone else could see. Thankfully those delusions don't plague my life anymore, but it was so dark and awful. This is very interesting to me. When my grandfather, who I was very close with, passed, I had a feeling similar to what you described. I also had problems eating due to the feeling. I thought it was just normal, but looking back now I wonder if I experienced this as well. It's good to hear you're doing better. If you get yourself to be really happy and excited to see other people, they will react the same to you. It doesn't always happen the first time, but it will definitely happen next time. Time and again this has always worked fine for me. How do you do that? Just act like a dog. Dogs are always excited to see people. The placebo effect. The idea that belief in something can actually have a positive impact on the body just seems so crazy to me. Also helped me realize inversely why stress and anxiety can take such a toll on you. Funny enough, placebo also works when you know it's placebo. Somehow, deep down, there is something in you that wants to believe despite all reasonable arguments against it. Also, nocebo is a thing. When you expect something to harm you, it will. It makes a lot of treatments complicated. On one hand, you want the patient aware of the side effects. On the other, you don't want them to generate them by the nocebo effect. Also, nocebo is a thing. When you expect something to harm you, it will. Parenting 101. If you don't freak out about it, your toddler is indestructible. Déjà vu. To have such a strong feeling that an instance has happened before is crazy, like you experienced it in the past, or dreamed of it. The other vus apostrophe are fascinating too. Presque vu is when something is on the tip of your tongue, but you can't remember it. Jamais vu is when something familiar seems unfamiliar. It's the opposite of déjà vu. Don't forget dormez vu, when you think Brother John is sleeping, but he is not. How I can have a surprise in my dream. Like something will happen, and I'll be confused about it, then someone will explain it by giving new information, and then it makes sense. But all of this is created by my own brain while I'm dreaming. How can I reveal new information to myself to explain something? This also fascinates me. My brain has created things in my dreams that baffles me to this day. But isn't my brain supposed to be me? So where are these creations coming from? I have a roommate that never really opens their door, and I've only caught the briefest of glances into their room as he exits it. So I had no real idea what their room looked like. One night though, I had a dream and my mind decided to stitch all these memory fragments together and recreated his room in my dream. Then when a couple days later I actually stepped into his room for the first time to check something out for him, it felt like I'd been there before, and my brain made a pretty accurate full representation. It felt crazy. Denial. The many answers to evade the truth are very creative. Denial is rooted in perception of threat. If you manage to convey the same words in a way that doesn't make it as a threat, you'll shave off most of it. True generally, but some people cannot handle any level of perceived criticism, even when you speak to them as gently and inoffensive as possible. They'll immediately go to a place of self-defense and denial. I think this happens most to people who have always been praised their entire lives and never really dealt with any form of hardship. They live mental padded room, and any perceived criticism is completely foreign and out of the realm of possibility that they could be wrong. We see it's never happened before. It's one of the most infuriating personality traits I've ever had the misfortune of coming across. Interestingly, narcissists are on the other end of this spectrum. They are hugely insecure and anxious all the time, so they need other people's unwavering support and praise to prop up their fragile egos. Playing. When two animals play with each other, they both communicate aggression. They show fangs, claws, they bite, they go for the neck, etc. Everything about it should communicate danger, but they never feel endangered, even when one animal accidentally hurts another. This happens even when animals are playing with animals they have barely known for some time. It blows my mind how the right context completely transforms all the communication between animals who play. My understanding is that dogs have little pauses throughout a play fight that confirms it's just playing, and that dogs get so riled up when humans play fight because they sometimes can't tell when it's for real. Dog's posture tells the other dog it's playing too. Front paws out in front, butt up in the air, head down. Edit, yes. Face down, ass up. Next person who makes this joke is catching these hands. How laughter affects people. Laughter is basically the yin to stress's yang, which inspires me to make people laugh when I can, as I don't know what they are going through. Laughter increases things like dopamine and can even help soothe physical pain sometimes. Even smiling, lifting the corners of your mouth alone has positive effects on you, even if you force it. Man, the human brain is a weird and fucked up thing. It's like millions of years of spaghetti code in there. For me it is the unconscious mind and the fact that it accounts for the majority of our cognitive activity. I think it's interesting how we can simultaneously both know and not know things. It is also interesting, and perhaps even frightening, that we are not running the show to the extent that we think we are, at least not consciously. I like catching my unconscious mind making decisions for me. The one that I've catch the most is actually when to get up out of bed. You would think that is a decision that your conscious mind makes, but if you think about it soon after sitting up you'll realize you just kinda did it without actually deciding to get up. It's weird. Dreaming. Even though everyone does it, it's amazing that our minds create virtual realities for us nightly. If you can lucid dream, it can be more entertaining than any game technology has invented. I find dreaming fascinating, not just how dreams occur and their functions, but how it affects your memories and emotions too. In dreams, memories can be so different to real life. You can dream someone you don't know, who is completely made up only to feel like you knew them forever, complete with a set of memories together. The intensity of emotions are heightened as well, and you can stop feeling those emotions upon waking up. Mate, the worst is when you make someone up in the dream and then wake up only to find them gone. It feels like the memories you have of them were real. Bloody ruins my day when this happens. Why do people have favorites? Like a favorite color or a favorite flower? Or a favorite child? Damn it, mom. What did I do to you? How people who hate themselves hate people who like them. How can I not think my friend is a shitty person when I look at who he hangs out with? Well, at least they are being consistent. Psychosomatic symptoms. How you can have all these physical complaints or symptoms, but physiologically there's nothing causing it. How things can literally be all in your head. Super interesting. I'm probably late to this thread, but I find the call of the void an interesting phenomenon. It's that feeling you get when you stand on a high place and subconsciously think I could totally jump off right now, but you don't really want to, and you don't actually jump. I experienced this multiple times on my most recent trip to Europe. I tried explaining this to a family member the other day. Almost every single time I'm in a moving car in the backseat, I think about opening the door. I would never actually do it, but the urge is so strong that I have to put my hand on the handle and pull it, with the door locked, of course. Seems relative. Totally get it. It can also happen while driving. Sometimes you might get that urge to totally ram your car into the 18-wheeler next to you, or drive the car into the cement wall. You would never actually do it, and you otherwise never have suicidal thoughts, but the call of void calls out. So weird. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.